Hello everyone, welcome back to the SN Studio. Yes, it's me, I am here, but I'm doing a very special thing today.
Wow.
I know.
DC in the studio.
I've decided that it's time we sat down with El Jefe, Captain Pardo, the boss man himself of SN, and just have a little chat, have a little interview to get kind of a little bit behind the scenes and behind the thinking of the madness or genius that is Mr. Pardo. Just I think people would be interested to find out. We do get some questions that people want to ask, and I've always wanted to kind of sit down and do these kind of videos. So if you've seen Between Two Ferns, this is between two...
One fern.
Yeah, between one table.
With no table.
With no table.
I didn't. He wanted the table. I said no, because that way I could punch if I needed to.
In case the questions got bad. Well, what we're going to be doing, I'm going to break it up into parts. We're going to do like a personal section about you, a little bit about a little Pardo, and then we're going to do some content creator stuff. Okay. Talking about how it means to be a content creator and the things you've learned. Then we're going to go into kind of just SN, not into like the foundation stuff, but into kind of just SN now.
Back end.
You know, yeah, like, you know, success stories and bad things and all that kind of stuff. And then we're going to end with a little cheeky quickfire round to see if we can catch Mr. Pardo out.
Okay.
But before all that, I thought let's just get straight into it, because there was a lot of people who are watching now probably know about Fuck Pardo.
Okay.
They know about the start of 3.0.
Yes.
And they know about the entire saga
That's
around...
a whole story by itself.
It really is. And we won't go into crazy depth at the moment, but I thought it'd be probably a good touch point to begin with. And I guess my first question is that when 3.0 came out, and we had the good, bad, the ugly video, you had content already created, built up, ready to go for the release. Yeah. You were none the wiser to the leaks that came out, scrolled with abusive messages about you.
Sorry, but
and the obviously the tidal wave that came after that. I guess my first question would be, where were you at the time when you received and saw the news, everything going out? How did you feel about it? What was your initial reactions?
So I think it's a good time to, like, there's a lot of people that don't know exactly what happened there. They just know the hashtag. Yes. And they just don't really know where it came from. So I think we should step back a month prior. So we have an NDA with Games Workshop, right? We get the stuff a few weeks early to preview. Normally when it's a new edition, we get the stuff like a month and a half to 2 months, maybe earlier than what it is. There was some problems with, I think, sending the stuff out, and we had like 3 weeks to prep for the release date of Horus Heresy. So that was absolute madness. Imagine, right? 3 weeks, no DC, the team's smaller, brand new edition, completely different revamp really of the game and how it plays. And we just went all guns blazing. It was full days at the studio. Full days, I mean like 9 o'clock till 12 o'clock midnight. So it was 14, 15-hour days here in the studio. Playing. Yeah, it was like the first week was all about playing and understanding and getting and just learning the game before we get the camera, right? And then the other 2 weeks were just playing the game, recording the game, making sure everything was okay. So the games just took ages to do, because you were just constantly checking. We really were determined to have the best release of Heresy ever, and we promised everybody that we would have every single Legion out there for everybody to either view either on SN Plus or on Freeview, except the Word Bearers. That's another thing to talk about. There is a separate video about the Word Bearers Legion on SN Plus, which is a great little chat with myself and DC there about what actually happened with that commission and the nightmare that it was. But anyway, so it was basically DC, Jose, Chris into the studio. We were normally like 3-man, 4-man in the studio. One's in the corner with a rule book explaining, and it was a long few weeks. At the same time, Games Workshop is telling us that we need to do a collaboration with one of the big channels, which was either Play on Tabletop in Canada or Lawrence Baker and the Tabletop Tactics squad in UK. We had to do a collaboration with one of these two. They wanted us to do the collaboration. Obviously, it was very difficult for us to travel all the way through Canada, more so because at this point we were recording all the content for SN for the Heresy. So going to Canada was obviously more or less like a week we needed, whilst going to UK was only days. So we ended up going to Lawrence's in Bath, beautiful place, and basically I did that. I've actually got some footage of the behind the end and that. Shall we watch it?
Yeah.
I never posted it because there was just too much going on. So we can have a look at the back end of my travels over there to the Tabletop Tactics studio. We have arrived at the Tabletop Tactics studio. It is so hot. What is going on here in the UK? It is crazy. Like 30-40 degrees. I'm melting. It feels like I'm back in Spain, in Gibraltar. It feels even hotter. But yeah, we are here outside, a massive, massive place. We're going to have a little sneak preview of how it looks inside. I'm excited. It's my first time here. I haven't seen Lawrence in some time as well, so I'm eager to see him and the team as well. So let's go in and take a look and some back-end videos as well of what's happening behind the scenes. Hello, hello, hello. So here we are in the top floor of the Tabletop Tactics studio or building. And yeah, we are behind the scenes. We're already recorded. We're recording. We've already recorded turn 1. Has been cracking. Fletcher's having a lot of fun. Lawrence is having a lot of fun. But we don't care about Lawrence, so it doesn't matter. And I'm having a lot of fun, which is important. So very cool place. Obviously, I will be doing some B-rolls of the place. But we've got some old world stuff. All the old world stuff here, which is really, really cool. And then let's go into the studio here. And the studio. Ta-da! Fletcher, turn 1 finished now.
Yeah, fuck you up.
He's not. I'll beat him.
Nah.
Do the same like I did to a beard. He thinks he was winning, and then I'm like, smash, push. He's out. So look at this. What a studio. Incredible. Look at this, all the armies on display. It looks absolutely stunning. Much bigger than I thought as well, and very cool. And obviously we've got the table here, set up, and the game's going. This game will probably be out by now, so head over to SN Plus, SN Plus on demand on Tabletop Tactics. You've probably already seen the first game with myself and Laura and Beard, which was on Freeview, and this one will be on demand. So go and check that out. Really cool game, Sons of Horus versus the Salamanders. And yeah, I'll take you to the bottom floor now and check out the events hall, which is very impressive. I'm jealous. I thought mine was good. This one's even better. So here we are in the hall. What is this called again?
Gaming venue.
That's the lodge. Is it the lodge? No.
Yeah, this is the lodge.
The lodge, yeah. Hi.
Welcome.
And look, amazing. Look at these tables. Painted by Fletcher himself, all of them. Amazing standard. Nearly all of them. The ones I'm recording, at least.
Yeah.
That's Fletcher, by the way. We don't know his face. He likes to hide, see behind pillars and stuff. So yeah, look, amazing class. Air conditioning, timers, great lighting, tall tables. You've got your stools. You've got your little lower tables, so you can add all your stuff. It's huge. How many tables? How many players? 20 tables, 40 players?
40 players.
Amazing. Yeah. So good. I'll let you have a little round through here to check all this. Got toilets. They've got the little shop there to buy all the little stuff. And then the bar as well. And we're having a little lunch, quick lunch, to carry on recording.
So you enjoyed your time over with Lawrence and the gang?
It was great. It was great. It was great to see them. Like, we're very, very good friends as well. Like, me and Lawrence now go on for like 10 years, 9 years now. And it was great to also see him and the family and see the incredible facilities
amazing, right?
They have, which I hadn't been yet.
Yeah.
And it was a joy. And obviously we recorded. It was a massive collaboration for the Heresy community, having a big channel like them, having a battle report. And obviously for the channel, for us, it was big because obviously they've got a massive audience. So it was great. Now, the day I started traveling was the massive drama of the leaks.
Yes.
It was hours before me getting onto the plane. It was horrible. So we're all ready to go for release date. There's only like days left. We're very excited. We've got like battle reports edited out and all this jazz. And the last thing we wanted was leaks. Yeah. Because it basically, I know there's a lot of you are going to say, oh, it's the best thing because it helped us out, blah, blah. For a studio, it's awful because we had done endless hours of work and it's not the same anymore. As not seeing anything and then here's the content, here's how it plays out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's from a personal level, from us. It's can you imagine the amount of hours and stuff to try and create enjoyable content for people to do, which is all part of it. You know, that if the leak never happened, then Games Workshop would release stuff at the same time. People would all be watching it at the same time.
Yeah.
So we understand. Yes, people say great leaks, you can see it beforehand, and so on and so forth. And that's a different debate, I think, from leaking is good or bad, or
exactly.
That's a different topic.
Yeah.
But what happened specifically here was
awful.
was awful.
So the leak came out, and people see that there's a lot of things missing, a lot of flavor missing, a lot of equipment options missing, and we knew about this. We were not happy as well. Like we actually did this video, which is one of our highest viewed videos as well, which is called The Good, The Bad, The Ugly, The Good. And we reversed it, and we talk about it, right? We talk about the flavor missing and all this missing, but obviously everybody just stepped a bit too quick forward, because Games Workshop later on released a PDF. We shall never know if that was the official PDF or of all the backlash made them do more. We shall never know. But we didn't know about that PDF for starters. So anyway, so the day before I go to UK, the leak comes out in this Discord. I never go into Discord. Like, I'm never going to Discord. So I want to go into the Discord to see what people are saying. More than anything. Like, I know it's bad. I know it was going to be a rocky start. I know what we've seen. I was expecting it. So I go into the Discord to check out what people are basically saying about the edition, right? So I go into this Discord, don't really know how to use it or anything like that. I sign in into this Horus Heresy community Discord, and I just say, like, hey guys, what's up? Something like that. Yeah. A couple of people comment, oh, it's Pardo, blah, blah, blah. The leaks are still going on, right? At that point, the leaker says that he's got a message from Games Workshop saying that stop leaking, we know you're leaking, blah, 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 which I can confirm that is not true. Like, Games Workshop wouldn't send you a message through Discord to tell you. No. So I don't know if it was just someone trying to scare him off or whatever. This guy just links up the whole timing of me going into the Discord saying hi to him getting that message and thinking that it's been me who has told Games Workshop that this guy's leaking. Okay. And obviously he gets mad about it and starts putting every single page with fuck Pardo, fuck Pardo's family, Plasma Pardo's house, awful stuff, right? Constantly. It's all over. It's global, right? It's everywhere. At that point, when all this is happening, I'm about to get a plane for three hours. And you don't like flying as well. And I don't like flying as well. So I'm also taking my dad with me just to spend some time. So it's an awful, like, I'm stressed. The flights, I hate it. I suddenly have to switch off my mobile for 3 hours, don't know what's happening when all this is exploding, you know? And I basically land in UK, about to record in a big studio with people that had never played the game. So it's basically me doing everything. Just a lot of stress and all that is coming out. And no, it wasn't like, it's not that it didn't, I'm quite hard skinned. Yes. It wasn't really getting to me in a bad way. Personal. It was just personal way. It was just getting me extra stress, which I didn't want. And I was like really stressed. I know there was a lot of people that said how well I dealt with it, and I think I'm good at that sense, but it was awful. It was awful because people were getting it out of content. People started seeing the fuck Pardo leaks and the comments, and people started thinking, or some people started thinking, that I had done the rules. Leak itself? No, that I had done the rules for this edition. Oh, I see, yes. That's why they were complaining about it. That I had created, or I was one of the rules writers, so the hate was coming towards me. And there was a lot of hate. There was a lot. Like, there was a lot of comments and a lot of bad things, which is fair enough, that's all part. I all reversed it up, and I said, fuck you, back into those awful people, and I basically did a fuck Pardo t-shirts, which we donated profits of every t-shirt to charity, and we raised £300 for Mind UK, and it was great. Obviously, that was great, but there was a lot going on, and it was very stressful times, and it wasn't the best of times for us. Yeah, 100%. And obviously, I was watching it go. I felt bad, obviously, for everything that you were getting, because imagine being
an entire community of hundreds of thousands of people around the
Yeah.
world, wherever it is, and one person is the focal point for everybody's rage.
Yeah.
Because they weren't raging at Games Workshop, they were raging at you.
Mostly me.
Most of you, because you were the face at that point of 3.0.
Yes.
Even though all you had done, and I'd like to caveat that people have, and I've been reading them online, and it's always going to be the way, right? It always is the way. But people have the strangest ideas and conspiracy theories about what an NDA is with a company like Games Workshop.
Yes, that's
it
horrible.
Is quite literally, you get some products a little bit earlier than everyone
2
else.
weeks before.
Don't put any content out online until a certain date. That is it.
That is it.
That is.
Yes, we are getting free stuff. A lot of the free stuff we don't want sometimes.
Well, it just gets sent. But
But
the main point of it is there is no grand conspiracy of you have to say nice things.
No.
You have to
There's nothing
do
like
what
that.
they say.
Nothing.
There isn't some sort of, you're not sitting around a big table full of
they're
evil
not
people
paying
trying
us.
to,
They're not paying us. People think we get paid. I wish we get paid. And apart the other thing that people don't see is that it's a lot of work. Like suddenly they send you something and in 2 weeks time they want you to have a video out and have it painted and have it built. You know, it's like constant deadlines, which is a lot of work for, yes, getting the £25 model for free. That's it.
Exactly. And on top of that is that people tell, and there's a lot of again a lot of anger towards the SN are getting a box set early, we're getting that early, but it's not like that. You've clicked your fingers, SN exists, and then you're getting free stuff.
Of course not.
It's been, as we're going to go into in this interview itself, there is years of work that goes into getting to the point of where Games Workshop will turn around and go, oh, we can work together.
Yes.
So you can help us market things, essentially. And
when you know that Games Workshop is contacting you for obviously collabs, is you're doing good. You're doing a good place, and
you've worked for it.
You've worked for it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a good. But anyway, back to that. It was just horrendous time because of it. Now, thinking back, at the same time, it was also working for SN because there was so many people asking, who is this Pardo? Who is this N? And a lot of people were visiting the channel and saying like, oh, these guys are great. This content is great. Why haven't I seen it before? We had so many messages of people saying like, why haven't I seen this before? And so it actually sort of helped us out. The problem is that there's the nasty side of the community, and a lot of people were feeding into the negativity of what was happening. We had channels and other channels just try to make videos about it and using the whole Pardo and using my face and using what I had said and using my video and stuff like that. And to be honest, all I said in the bad, the good, the ugly, or whatever it was called, was the truth. Like, I said that the game was good. Those of you who are playing now can now understand why I was saying the game was so good, because the game is very good. Yes, there is some bad things. Nothing's going to be perfect. I did say that it was bad that they had taken off the flavor at that point. So I didn't really understand what the people were angry about. They were just angry because we were supporting Games Workshop. We weren't supporting. I think that video, if you go back and see it now, is like a really good video of what the proper impact of third edition was.
I agree, and I would also say that the other side of it is that your personality, as you are, you're a very positive person, and you tend to try and look at the positives of things. It's very rare that you say to me, I want to make a video that's just going to be bashing on something.
Yeah, of course.
Which is why they tried to make the good, the bad, and the ugly, and try and make it a balanced approach. And I'd also say that the video in the time is that the early days of Heresy, I imagine if you made a good, bad, the ugly video again now, it'll probably look a little bit different to what you're doing now.
It was all the timing of what things were happening. And the problem is that people need to understand that the goods was me saying that the game was really, really good. And people weren't understanding that bit because no one had played the game at that moment. Now, you have to realize that we had been 2 to 3 weeks playing for 12 hours a day. So we knew at that point that the game was very good, is what you guys are seeing now, that the game and the rule system is very, very good. But people were just thinking and seeing that video like, oh, you're just Games Workshop, you're just making it look good. What they've done is they've taken my armies and they've taken it. It was horrible. Like, it was a really bad decision, if it was the decision they were going to take. But in the end, they've cleared it all. We've got every single book out. We've got campaign books already out. Most of the stuff can be used, if not everything. And we go back to that video and it's like, yeah, that is exactly what it was all about.
It came from, yeah.
Anyway, stressful times. But it was more the stress of me being tired, the team being tired of so many hours of work, then all this coming out. I remember one day, to break me, it's difficult. But I remember one day just waking up on the sofa. I had fallen asleep on the sofa, waking up knackered, I had gone to sleep like 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Waking up tired, my body's hurting already. I know I have to record. Waking up to a mobile, a social media, and just seeing like negativity and my name out and SN and all that. And it just like, I just said like, I think I'm going to give up at that point.
Yeah.
But obviously, I had my breakfast, my coffee, and then it was okay,
you were fine. Yeah.
But it was like, if that would have happened to someone that isn't as tough-skinned as me, that would have been a bad
really
place
bad.
for someone.
In many ways, it's bullying.
It's bullying. It is basically bullying.
What irked me
there was people that were bullying, making the most of
definitely
taking it to a bullying.
And
place.
using it as an excuse, especially to come out and bash people, for sure. But the one of the things that got me was that you can have negative opinions about a game system. I mean, in a day, toy soldiers. Let's not forget that. But the anonymity behind the person that could make all those comments, the leaker essentially, that they could say all those horrible things, but never have any consequence for their action because they can hide in anonymity. Always kind of got me, because if you have those feelings about something and you want to make it public, then you should at least stand behind that as a person. So
that was bad.
Yeah, it's bad.
And it's taking it to the next level, like getting my family involved, like I'm going to bomb your house and stuff like that. You know,
you just threats, right?
You got threats. Yeah, I commented on a couple of people like saying like, okay, you're an idiot and stuff like that, because it was just getting to that point. And they were like personally messaging me with death threats and stuff like that. You know, that was the level of what I was getting as a community. So to think about 4 months later to where we are now, and it's like an incredible difference. You know, we're just about to hit 70,000 subscribers on YouTube as a Horus Heresy channel. Just for you guys to know, we built 5 years of 40K and we got to about 30. We're now getting 40,000 more since we made the decision to go into Heresy. So the Heresy community is strong, is big, and we are definitely doing something right when we've doubled or more at this point. So
haters couldn't stop you.
Yep, exactly.
Brilliant. Well, now let's get back to the other questions. Next part coming up, we're going to go into a little bit of, you know, what was young Pardo like? What does Pardo do behind the layer of Horus Heresy? Coming up. All right, let's get personal. Okay, not too personal. Don't worry.
Not that much. Yeah.
I just want to give a bit of flavour about your background, and how it came to be, basically, where the kind of person you are who ended up creating SN and where it all kind of came from. So you've given, I think, the story of how SN was created in the past.
Yeah, loads of times.
Loads of times.
People are bored of it.
Yeah, exactly. So we won't go into the whole, you know, SN and bits and bobs in that respect. But I've got a few questions here, and we're going to start off all the way at the beginning.
Okay.
What were you like back at school?
Back at school? From what seriously, I think I was like a good kid.
Oh yeah?
I was a good kid. I was always like, there was like prefects, you know?
Yeah, okay,
where they would like award people to like,
little badge.
Yeah, or head boy. I wasn't never the head boy, but I was like in that group of people. So I was good at school. I was very sporty. I still am, but I was like very, very sporty. I was in everything, like clubs, any type of sports. I think I was a good boy.
Wait, it matches your personality now when you say you were in every club, because
I still am.
You still are.
Not anymore, but I was.
Don't stop.
No, I don't stop. I was that kind of kid. What I am now, I was that kind of kid still. You know, big group of friends. I was very sociable, and I think that helped a lot because I had like a lot of mixed groups of friends. You know, and I think I was a good kid, and I think I was liked.
I always kind of thought you'd be a bit of a cheeky, naughty kind of kid. You know,
I was cheeky.
Yeah.
Never naughty.
Okay.
Like I don't think I was naughty. Yeah, I would go to timeout sometimes, and I would have my lines. I don't know if that's a UK thing.
Oh yeah.
I have not done this, and they tell you to repeat that 300 times. You know, every so often I did have that. I wasn't like the good boy.
Well, just you were trying to make it out at the start that you were kind of. You know.
Yeah, but I'm not like the one that they were calling my parents every single day, or fighting at school every single day. You know, I'm not that kind of like cheeky. Yeah, I was probably cheeky.
Okay.
The one that threw the stone and
the hand. Exactly. Yeah.
That type of guy probably.
Because it's similar now. Because like, for example, we'll be in the studio and he wants to sneak up and scare people.
Yeah. That's never changed.
No, exactly.
That's
So I can see little Pardo in that world.
I'm still doing that to my kids. My kids too. My wife hates it. My wife's like, you can't do that to a 2-year-old, bro. He just like, I'm scaring constantly. So yeah,
amazing.
I need to stop that.
So young Pardo there.
Yeah.
Obviously, super active, super sporty, but then the hidden nerd underneath.
Yes.
Was into Warhammer.
Warhammer. Yeah.
So when did Warhammer first come about?
So
for you,
I was very, very young. I think I was like 7, maybe 8. It all started. So one of my earlier sister's boyfriends. So I've got 3 sisters. They're all older than me. So my eldest, or one of the eldest, because they're twins, had a boyfriend who was very into Warhammer, called Michael. And he used to play a lot of fantasy. He was an incredible painter.
Okay.
And obviously, him showing me the classic White Dwarfs, which is, I guess, what everybody still falls in love with, or made us fall in love with Warhammer. And at the same time, he would like bring over his stuff to play with me. And we would play a lot of Hero Quest at that point. And obviously, he had the whole Hero Quest game painted to a very high standard, so it wasn't just grey plastic. So obviously the immersion was incredible. He was a very good dungeon master as well. So and at the same time, I would maybe go to his house and he would show me all his armies on display. You know, it was just like, I'm in.
That's it.
And that was the end of that. Yeah.
So my follow-on question then, from that, when you got hooked, you're in. What was the first ever army?
So I started fantasy. I think most people started fantasy maybe. Because fantasy was the first game, right? 40k came a bit later on, I think.
Well, there was Rogue Trader, I think, before that.
And then, anyway, I started with fantasy. My first ever army was orcs. Well, it was like a mix. You know, I would just buy anything, to be honest. But it was mostly like orcs. I had some Tomb Kings or skeletons at that point. I had Dark Elves as well. I remember the first box I got was a plastic box set of Dark Elves, you know, all the same position. That was actually bought by Michael for me for one of my earlier birthdays. And then it was just like, I wasn't even playing the game properly. I was just rolling dice, he was telling me, you know. So, and I don't think I was that nerdy at that point. I just fell in love with what Warhammer was. I wasn't ever into like fantasy or anything like that. My mum says like I was always into dinosaurs and stuff, which isn't really... Lizardmen. I was never into Lizardmen actually, but I was like obsessed with dinosaurs, and then suddenly I went into Warhammer. At a very young age, and just fell in love with it.
See, from not this interview's about me, but I need to make it a little bit about me. When I was young, my dad was into kind of medieval history, which kind of lent into the world of fantasy, etc. But from my perspective, when I was a kid, I was obsessed with the undead in Warhammer. So for you, it was orcs.
It was orcs.
That was what you were.
I know there was an obsession with orcs because as soon as I went into 40k, it was orcs as well.
Wow, okay.
So I just loved like the whole that they were different, you know, green skin, they were big, they were chunky, they were wacky, and that really, I loved Gorkamorka as well, so that helped a lot, obviously, following into the steps of orcs. No, Gorkamorka, fantasy orcs, 40k orcs, it was orcs, yeah.
So, putting the nerd Pardo back in the box for a moment. Growing up, you were, like you said, you're sporty, active, always into doing things like that. You ended up getting into dance.
Yes.
Which a lot of people don't know. And this is the thing about Pardo. He's such a mysterious guy. What you would see on the surface is not what is actually...
Dance is probably the biggest part of my life. Apart from, obviously, Warhammer and SN, dance was massive in my life. Like, massive.
You used to dance with your wife.
Yes, that's how I met my wife,
Which is a proper romance story.
Proper romance story, yeah. So I started dancing since more or less that age, 7, 8, and I was a really good dancer. Obviously, I wasn't the whole ballet dancer, because, you know, my structure of body isn't that, but I was very into contemporary dance. I was a really good street dancer, a lot of, you know, just disco dance, which is something that you would see, like break dancing, and... my sisters all done, so that was what basically hooked me in. But from the very, very young age, people could see that I was good and I was different. And obviously, I got the attention from a lot of dance schools here in Gibraltar to escalate it to competitions. Yeah, and I after that, it was just a massive story. I was 20 years dancing, maybe even more than that, competitively at European and titles and or championships, and incredible. Yeah.
My question was actually with that is that do you miss dancing with your wife?
I don't miss dancing now. Seriously, I think it's like burnt me out. I did it so much. You have everything. It was just
as well, right?
Yeah, it's the traveling. It's the dance was like a lot of hours. Like when we used to compete at like world championships and we were going there to compete, it was like every single day for 5 hours, 6 hours, just dancing. Your body just knackered. My knees are knackered now. My elbows are knackered now because of it. No, and it was a lot, and I just burnt out. I think I did everything I needed to do. What do you say? I got the T-shirt now. And that was the end of me. I'm actually my son loves dance.
Okay.
And as soon as there's music, he's dancing, and I'm like, don't go that route. don't do this to me. So yeah, but it was amazing. Like I've traveled the world because of it. Like so many countries that I wouldn't even think about going, I went to, because what they used to do is they used to do a lot of these competitions in countries that needed a bit of more tourism and stuff. Yeah. So I would go to the likes of like really small little towns in Slovenia, and go to Serbia, little towns in Serbia, and travel everywhere. And obviously dancing, my wife used to dance as well. She was an incredible dancer, and basically we started dancing as a couple, and that led to us getting married and having a baby. Incredible.
You also mentioned you've done your knees in, you've done your elbows in, you're a bit battered and bruised now, but that is also because you've been a cage fighter.
Yes.
Which again, if you add into the layers.
But to be honest, like dancing was more battering than a cage fight.
That's interesting.
Because like, yes, when you go to war, is like when you're in the cage. Like when you're going like all out, it's all or nothing. It's in the cage, which was rare. I did it 5 times in my career. And then when you're at the gym, yes, you're hitting it hard, but it's not as hard as landing on your knees constantly, jumping up in your knees, landing on your elbows. It's like dance is like a whole different.
Who would have thought?
Yeah, it's crazy. Like the injuries all came down from dancing more than anything, because it's just battering. It's just like you hear of these ballet dancers, professional ballet dancers, who just can't walk after after their professional careers, because it's just like it just takes your toll.
But you were 5-0, right? In
5-0 in
cage fight, in
MMA.
UFC?
Yeah, in MMA. Not UFC. Not UFC. People always say like UFC. I was in MMA. I did cage fight in UFC. It's just obviously an organization, an incredible organization, which is now hooked everybody around the world. And I was not even close to that standard of fighting. But yeah, 5-0. I fought 3 times here in Gibraltar. I fought once in Spain and once in Morocco.
Wow!
Which that's another story for another day. But that was a crazy experience fighting over there in Morocco. Yeah.
So for all the UFC fans out there, probably thinking, what's your favorite UFC fighter of all time?
I think it's GSP.
I was going to say that.
I think he's. I grew up from a very, very young age watching the UFC when it all basically started, and he was one of the, I think, like my icons of his style of fighting, his not big ego, which we see now, who is just like there to fight and to show how a fighter should be.
Yeah.
So
interesting.
Yeah.
So we've had young Pardo.
Yes.
We've had dance Pardo, fighting Pardo, and now we're into older, perhaps wiser Pardo.
Yes, definitely wiser.
There's another part about you in the onion that is you. The layer of you're quite entrepreneurial.
Yes.
And this is partly obviously why we're here right now, where SN began, and the level of dedication you put into something.
Yeah.
Considering where SN's humble beginnings to where we are now, and the shiny logos and the new studio and everything else, is that you've had other businesses, right? What other businesses have you owned in the past? Give us a little bit of flavour of what entrepreneurial Pardo has been like growing up as well.
Businesses-wise, well, you mean, so I had a paintball field.
Yes.
Yeah, I had a paintball field. But apart from that, it's just been working for, obviously my parents have always owned businesses, which have always helped out. So I had a lot of experience dealing and seeing the back end of how businesses work. And then basically my normal job is graphic design mostly. So I've done all sorts.
And football?
And football, yes. We owned a... People are just going to think that we're making shit up.
That's what I'm saying.
So, my friends and I established a football club when we saw... So we established a football club. We actually played for the football club for a few years. It was like a group of like 7 of us, six, 7 of us. And we played football for a long time. Then we slowly moved off the football, stayed as founders and as part owners of the club, and a couple of other people played for the team. And then Gibraltar was actually made one of the teams officially for under UEFA.
Okay.
And then it got a bit too much for us. Like, you needed to start having youth academies, and you needed to have a B team, and you needed to look for sponsors, and you were competing for Champions League places. It got quite surreal. And at that point, we were like wanting to find a buyer, which we did find a buyer. We're not talking about millions of pounds, guys, but we did find a buyer. I think he was actually from Nigeria. Had a couple of teams in like Netherlands and stuff like that, and actually bought the team from us, which for us was like, there you go, I've had all sorts.
It's crazy.
It's crazy.
Yeah, when you think about it.
It's crazy.
Actually, when I met you, we met through Warhammer, but we also were going to meet through paintball.
Paintball, yeah.
And I remember in the old club, little tidbit here behind the scenes, where if you go back to our original videos, obviously you saw the banner and stuff, but behind the banner was paintball guns and boxes,
all the paintball business, which I had to leave. There's a lot of things to do with SN. Like, there was times where I had to like stop doing things because I saw this vision of where we are today, and I had to push for those things. And obviously, you have certain hours in a day to do it, so we just had to stop. And it was a bit too much at that time, and I had to step back on things.
Make a choice, right?
Make choices. Yeah.
So we're gonna one more question in the personal round, then we're gonna go over to the content creator and all the kind of what that means. But the last one is just a bit of fun one, which is, what was the last model that you've painted?
I know it. I know exactly what it is. It was a basilisk for Shaggy. So the last army I painted was Astra Militarum, which Shaggy had for a very long time. And the last thing I painted was a basilisk, because he had bought the army from me. It only had one basilisk. Basilisk got really good in 7th edition, and he basically said, I want 2, and I painted the second one up for him. And that was the last time I probably painted a full.
And that's because model. You don't enjoy painting?
I don't enjoy painting, for one. It was always a burden for me.
Okay.
And I don't think I was like bad. I think I was like good tabletop.
Yeah.
But it was always a burden for me, and as well time. Like, the limited time you have, like, if you want to, painters out there, you know more than anybody the time it takes. Just people don't understand how long it takes to paint, and I just don't have those hours. And at the same time, couple it in with I don't enjoy it. This was like, I'm just not going to do it anymore.
You also don't sit still for more than 5 minutes. You also don't sit still.
I don't sit still. I would I wouldn't be able to do it. I wouldn't be able to do it.
Brilliant. Right. Okay. So next up, we're going to go into part 2, and that's going to be all about content creation. If you're interested in doing, your own content in the future, and a good chance that we can ask some questions about the guy who's been doing it right now. So that's coming up in just a second. Right. Part 2, and it's all about being a content creator. So not necessarily related directly to SN and SN related subjects, but probably a bit more broader.
Yeah.
Because I thought people would like to know, because it's obviously all glitz and glamour when you're a content creator. Nothing ever goes wrong.
No.
Nothing ever bad.
It looks brighter on the outside than it is.
Exactly.
But I think it's a good question. I have so many people like message me and ask like, I want to start doing this. How do I start? Sadly, I don't have time to reply to all the messages. And it's like very difficult to reply to them. Like, what do you reply? What do you want to do? There's just so many questions in the questions itself. But I think it'll be interesting for a lot of people.
We're going to go straight into it. So what's the biggest challenge in making Warhammer content?
Time.
Okay.
Time is a massive factor. Like, if you don't have the time, don't even go into it. Don't even start. But you've been here. Like, it's just like people don't understand that. Like, we're going to come straight into this. So when there's like a nasty comment on a battle report, or like just a comment where it says like, you made this mistake, nothing else, just that's the comment. I always feel like, obviously these comments are going to go through, but then I think like, I've been 6 hours in the studio recording. I've done 2 hours of prep work before. I've gone back into the studio at home and edited for another 5 hours. I've done a total of 16 hours for you to tell me, oh, you rolled a 2 and you picked it up. It's like, cool.
No,
it's a lot of work.
It's hard not for those things like to get to you. Now, obviously, feedback
it's good.
It's good.
It's great. It's incredible.
I would actually probably even say that sometimes when people do comment feedback, it's the best way to learn.
It is.
It's in like a public forum.
Yeah,
you don't
it's so good.
It.
Like those comments where this doesn't do it like this, it's like this, or this unit can't do this, or you forgot this. And those are the ones that we really learn because you're like helping us out to remember things. But again, coming back to the question, it's more about time. And what I meant by that, like comments and stuff, is like just people don't understand how long a video takes to post, and that's just one video.
Yes,
it's all the admin work of keeping control of your community and your WhatsApp groups that we have, and answering emails and sending stuff and making sure that everything's being sent. There's just so much into it that people don't see. All you see is the video you click and you watch, and you don't see the back end, which is
entirely. When I moved back to the UK, one of the biggest things people were messaging me saying, "Hey, you're going to do all world content," and I'd love to, but my experience through SN and everything here is that Pardo does 95% of the work when it comes to SN, and the amount of time it takes, if you don't have that kind of time allowance, and that kind of level of dedication you need, then it's going to be a real uphill struggle to create content.
It's hours and hours and hours of non-stop, and you can't stop. So that's the problem.
No, you can't. Yeah, exactly. It is endless as well.
It is endless. There's no like, oh, we made it into here. No, we need to carry on after that.
Always create. Yeah. So amongst that, when you're creating content, when you're thinking about new content to create, or just the daily or weekly running of SN, because don't forget, obviously we do events as well on top of that.
Yeah.
How do you handle the difficult situations or the difficult decisions that kind of come about when you're creating content?
So I think that's why it's important to always have a team. I think if you're a one-man team, it's more difficult to do. Like I always bounce back onto my team when there is those problems, or if I need help, I always bounce back onto my team. And I think that's a very important thing to have, not only for them to help you, but to give you wise words and to give you like, look, I don't think this is right. I think it should be. So I think having a team is something that's very important. I'm very proud of having a team like I do, which it's not only like a work team. It's more like a bunch of friends. It's like a family. Like we went out the other day and it just seemed like it was a great little evening because of it. And I try to include that as part of the team. I want it to feel like a family, to feel like a group of friends. And I think that's something that's very important.
No, agreed. And the other question, I guess, to follow up is that the amount of time that you mentioned you put into there, but also there's the investment of money, right?
Yes.
And people can consider that, maybe I make a channel, I've got an army, or I've got 2 armies. Now, could you give us a little understanding of the kind of investment you've made into SN over, perhaps not, doesn't have to be numbers, but just in terms of an overall kind of understanding of, like, for example, the logo behind us, or all these things have to be paid for, right?
Yes. It's crazy. Like if I don't want to even go, and I don't even want to check how much has gone. So I know for a fact that SN didn't make £1 till 5 years in. Like the first 5 years was like, we were not making money. We were losing money. Even our events were all coming in and going straight onto armies and terrain for the first 5 years. So if you're up for 5 years and you want to put, I don't know, X amount of hours a week to not get a penny back, but you still see the vision like we did, then you can do it. But if you think you're going to go straight in and start getting money, it doesn't work like that. It's a lot. Like right now, we commission armies, and for those of you who have commissioned armies, if you want to commission them to a high standard, you're talking about thousands of pounds for an army. We're talking £4,000 or £5,000 for an army. You want an updated unit, that's a few £100. It's bonkers. The studio itself cost about £10,000 to revamp, with a couple of extra cameras, all the work they had to do, all the electricity work they had to do. It's a lot of money. Like it's crazy. Like you can't even imagine
You have to go. You have to go with the understanding that you're going to have to kind of spend money to make money if you want to try and build.
Yeah, definitely.
At least, obviously, we're talking in the context to the standards that you try to instill
for
with
us.
SN.
For example, for representing SN, I had the vision of all the armies to be beautiful. So when you watched something in SN, you always went back and think, oh, SN, beautiful armies, beautiful stuff, and that's a problem when it comes down to funding, because obviously everything is expensive.
Yes, yeah, of course. Very expensive. Okay, so you've learned obviously a lot over your years.
Yes.
Considering if you go back again to our first videos and how they're edited and how the current videos are edited now. As a content creator, what would you say was the steepest learning curve that you've had to face to create where you are now to where you started?
I think you need to have patience, which is something I don't have. But patience is a virtue, I think, when it comes to this. You can't expect it to blow up. Sometimes you're like, why isn't it going faster? Why isn't this? And you just have to have patience, which is hard to grip. But sometimes you're like, I can't do more. Why aren't we building up? Why is this channel building up? And why aren't we building up? And you have to step back. And I think that you need to have patience. You have to be very, very lucky to explode as a channel. You have to be doing something either very well, or the algorithm is just going bonkers for you. But it's patience. It's just a slow grind. But you'll slowly get there, I'm sure, if you carry on.
What about the technical aspects? So notoriously, you and I are tech phobes. We are rubbish at technology.
Horrible.
But of course, with the camera that we're obviously looking at right now, there's the camera above.
Yeah.
There's obviously the light rigging. There's the microphones linked up.
Yeah.
Then there's obviously the software to edit the content and everything else. Yes, you have to learn all that, right?
Yes.
So you didn't have a background in that beforehand.
No, basically it was all self-taught. Luckily in the community, I have a couple of good friends who are part of broadcasting houses and stuff like that, which have helped a lot. Shout out to Colin, for example, who sat down with me the first couple of times to edit and show me how the editing program. So obviously that speeds up the process of learning it by yourself. My brother-in-law was always into photography, so I learned a lot of photography. So I think a lot of people say wow, how do you take amazing pics? It's not self-taught. Someone taught me the foundations of it before. And so yeah, just with a bit of help, and there's a lot of self-teaching you do get. And it comes down to experience. You make mistakes and you learn from them, and slowly but surely. And you just need to constantly update. That's the other problem, right? You need to get ahead of yourself. You can't just stay stuck, and it's something that happens to us because of funds. We couldn't really glow up to what we are studio wise, and our extra cameras. It's just a lot of money which we didn't actually have. So it also comes down to funding.
One of my favorite errors that you made was when we were many years ago now, one of the videos for 40K Battle Report. It was halfway through, and then the introduction came back in again. As in the narrative.
Oh yeah, did it
over the top again, and then it went back straight.
There was one bar report I remember that halfway through it said orcs were the winners or something like that, and we were having loads of comments. It was nothing to do with orcs, and people were going, "Oh yeah, the orcs have won." The orcs. I'm like, what's going on? Where are these comments coming from? It was that. Obviously, while it's editing, I had copy pasted something, and even if you you proof the whole video, right? But it's a 2-hour video, so sometimes you skip things. And I just skipped this really small segment where it said orcs were the champions or orcs were the winners, and people found it really, really funny.
So people might be watching, listening when they're painting now, and thinking in the past, oh, I'll start my own channel. And if because I just want to caveat that there's obviously various different levels. You can just do things for a hobby and enjoy it. You can do Garage Hammer and record things with your friends. And there's not saying this is the right way to do things, but if you were looking to kind of emulate how SN has created content and how SN likes to present itself, what advice would you give to those people who want to start their own channel in a similar kind of vision?
To SN?
Yeah, so for example, let's say me now from my Old World channel.
Yeah.
I want to create an Old World channel. What advice would you give me?
It's so difficult. You've just mentioned, it all depends on where you want to take the channel. Do you just want to get a handheld camera or your mobile and just record anything and just copy paste it into an editing program and kabah? Do you want to have the visuals? Do you want to take it up to the next level? Do you want to have multiple armies? It all depends like where you want to take the channel, what your vision is. I always say that if you've always been keen in starting one, I think it's something that you should at least try. Like in 30 years time, when you're sitting on your couch and you're 60 or 70 years old and you're going to be like, I never tried it, I think it's going to be a really bad moment for you. I think you should always try it and see how it goes. Look, there's some people that just are special, right? They just hold the camera and people just like them. They like their voice.
Thank you.
They like their voice. They love just how they are. And they like that sort of content. So it all depends. But what I would say is that there's so much out there that if you have an idea of making something different, which stands out, that's what you need to do right now. Right. It's a very busy, it's a very, I think, crowded place. Like Warhammer in general and YouTube is very, very crowded. So if you want to be different, that's, I think, the mark you want to do. If you think of, I can do this differently, I think that's something you really want to try. If you go for the whole standard, trying to compete the same way as the big channels are, I don't think you'll get anywhere unless you're very, very lucky.
Yes, yeah, and you hit that niche at the right time.
Exactly,
yeah, 100%. So, looking back, we're going to go into part 3 in a moment about SN, the SN story. But to finish this one off is that if you could go back and tell past Pardo one bit of advice before you started SN, what would it be?
Advice.
One bit of advice.
I think I should have gone part-time earlier. So talking about like part-time, I do this part-time.
That's a follow-up question, by the way. Later
that's a follow-up.
Too deep.
But too deep. But I think it would be something like that. Like if I should have had, if you wanted to get it to a level of what I had it in my head, I should have invested more time in it. And the only way to invest it would have been that. But yeah, if I go back to that, I should have invested time in only one game system. And I don't know. I think if we're going to go into a follow-up question, I think it's more details for that. But I think it's more that, like, make sure that I had a bit more time, stop other things or hobbies I had a bit more to invest more time in what I was doing, especially that I did have my vision, I did have my goal. And if I wanted to do that, I should have been a bit more smarter in the sense of like focus on just that, which I have been doing for the last like 3 or 4 years, and you've seen the difference when you just focus on one thing and not 20 things like I used to do.
Stop fighting people in cages.
Exactly, more or less,
So, with that, talking about the vision of SN, let's get into part 3, which is all about SN itself, and that's coming up in just a second. Here we are, part 3, all about SN, the SN story. Now, as I mentioned a little bit earlier in the video, as Pardo did, we have discussed kind of the history and foundation of SN in the past. If you're really interested, comment below, and then you can, find out in the WhatsApp community, which we have. There's plenty of discussions on that. So we're not going to particularly go into like how it began and everything else. I'm going to talk some more kind of a little bit more in-depth questions, I think, on the idea of SN, as it were, and the ups and downs. Trials and tribulations that comes with it. Exactly. So I'm going to cut straight to it. And my first question is, do you consider SN to be a success story?
Oh, definitely. I think it's a big successful story. I think one of the most important things that we need to acknowledge is that SN is based in a very, very small little city, town, whatever we want to call it, right? It's a population of 30,000. There's hardly any people playing. For what you get in the likes of like London and stuff like that, right? And I think evolving SN to what it is now in such a small little place where your siding or your neighboring country doesn't even speak the same language, so it's not that is an incredible story itself. I think from what we started to where we are now, having probably one of the most exclusive events in the Warhammer world here, also based as part of the channel. I think it's an amazing story to have, and
it's especially when because I guess it's easy to say now looking back, but when you begin, and it kind of touches on what we've discussed just now about being a content creator or building up a channel, is that if you think back to the first No Retreat, when it was in the old retreat center, and it was really hot, and it was it was an old building, or the first tournament, and that kind of building, we're kind of
is now.
I would consider a success story.
Incredible.
Built on every, and it hasn't gone from like straight to right. We just want the best straight away.
Yeah.
Because you can't.
Yeah, it's like something I post every single day when we get the participants or the main 30 participants for like a no retreat. I always put a post, and it always amazes me that there is people coming from all around the world, right? Australia, New Zealand, America, Canada. You know, it's places that it's on the other side of the world coming to a weekend here for an event. And I actually post it always. And there's people, I saw a comment the other day saying like, why is it shocking? Like why is it shocking? It's an exclusive event where lots of people, yeah, it's still shocking. After 10 years of no retreats, it is still amazes me that people want to spend all that money and be part of the community here for that event. And
enjoy the experience.
Enjoy the experience. And that is something that's always very powerful for me when I do see people coming from all over the world.
So I guess SN has not always just been a story of success, even though I would argue, yes, it is a success story today.
Yeah.
And a big part of that, I particularly remember, obviously, when we were in the trenches, as it were, of bashing out content for 40K, and the progress of the channel was slow.
Super slow.
And we went to decision time.
Yes.
Right? Of 40K or Horus Heresy. So what made you move to full Horus Heresy over 40K?
So that was probably the most important decision of my life, to be honest, because I had been pushing and wanting something for many, many years. I think it was 6 years, 7 years. And suddenly I had to make a decision where I was going to stop a game where I had built the foundations to where I was at that moment in time. So it was scary. I think it was much scarier than people think. And I think if you're now watching, you should stop and think what we actually did as a channel, because it was crazy time. So like DC said, 40K was at a very bad moment. We weren't liking the game. It was 10th edition. I actually, to be honest, quite hate it. To be honest, I know it's a very strong word, but that's the word I need to use because I hated it. We tried Old World as well, which was really, really good. We got like, I think our highest viewed videos in SN YouTube are Old World videos. And but then again, it was a game that we had to invest a lot of money in, which we didn't have the funds for. It was a game that wasn't amazing to me either. It was more rules and more.
I was a driving force.
You were the driving force as well, which you would at that point you were leaving Gibraltar. So obviously that was like, okay, so DC's leaving it. He's the driving force. We don't have enough armies, and going back into the fact of Gibraltar and such a small place, we can't really bring guests like you see in other channels where they have guests every single week because people just drive to their studio or get a train. If you want to come to Gibraltar, you need to get a flight because you're either getting a flight or you're from Spain and don't probably know English if you're playing around here. So it was very tough for us. And it was just that. We had loads of armies, which cost us a lot of money, 40K armies. And at this point, I'm like standing here saying like, I need to make a decision. And we had started Heresy already with 2.0. We had just got, so SN did start with Heresy, started 40K and Heresy. At one point, I had to make the decision in reverse of saying I need to go for one game. At that point, the game that was doing the best as a channel was 40K, and so I went for 40K for many years, and then the role was reversed. I had to basically step back and say, I need to do something about it. Either
the earlier decision was more of, I mean, it was early days in the channel, so it wasn't as impactful.
Yeah, it was within the first year and a half, 2 years. And it wasn't as impactful. We were nothing at that point. And Heresy wasn't really getting updated. 40K had been updated to 8th edition, which was the big bang of 40K. And it was just much easier than it is now. But right now, I'm standing here. I was standing in the studio with you and the team. And it was like, I've got like 60 grand worth of armies, which I'm going to have to sell for cheap and lose money and move into a specialist game with a lot less viewers, with a lot less people playing than the big daddy of 40K, and make a decision of having 30,000 people on the YouTube channel and all our SN Plus members and patrons, which are there for 40k, suddenly go, okay guys, that's just for 40k, we're moving only onto Heresy. It was scary stuff. It was scary stuff. And but look, it's been, luckily, very, very luckily, it's been a glorious decision.
I think so too, yeah, for sure. But there was trepidation there, because on top of that is obviously it didn't work. It was all going to kind of go down in flames. And
yes.
Also that there was a real like 40k fatigue, which also I would say was impacting the growth of the channel as well. So I guess my follow-up question is in those moments, did you ever consider quitting or closing down SN?
Yeah, definitely. I think there was those moments where I was just burnt out. The team was burnt out. You were burnt out. You were leaving as well at that time, which you were the right hand side of SN. I was the left. You were the right. We were one, right? And it was scary times. I was burnt out. The team was burnt out. No one was hardly playing 40k, and it was either making the decision and risking it and saying, look, it's all or nothing, and if it doesn't go well, we just close down, or just close down. And I think it was this decision of like looking back and saying like, okay, I'm part-time. I can't go back full-time to my job because they've already employed someone else to take over the part-time that I left behind. Mm-hmm. I've got my family, and I would always think back of like, I've worked for this for 7 consecutive years. Mm-hmm. I need to at least try it. But the trying bit was, I knew that it was all or nothing. It could either work, or it could either die completely and say 7 years of SN and all the hours and all the team hours and everybody that's helped and all the money that's invested is just going to go down the drain.
So did you feel, and I guess do you still feel, but did you feel at that moment a sense of responsibility or burden for potentially, if you were going to shut this down or quit, what that, as you just mentioned, that impact on the team and all the people and the time put into it?
There was a massive burden for me, to be honest, and I don't want to feel like I'm just thinking about myself. For me, it was mostly my family. Like, we need to survive. We need a job. We need money. And I had already taken massive cuts from my normal job to be part-time to aspire to SN and to take it a step further, mm-hmm. and to suddenly go like 3 steps back and have to find a job, and that was the scary part for me. Yeah. And that's why I was thinking a lot about family and all the rest of my bills, that how were they going to pay all these bills.
Yeah, of course.
So that was a scary part, but there was something inside that said you need to do it. And at that point, there was an easy part to it, because I was really enjoying Heresy. It was what I felt Warhammer in love with. So it was a proper war game. So it was a slightly easier, because I was really enjoying the aspect of Heresy. And I thought, if I'm going to do this forever, I need to enjoy what I'm doing in the studio, which I wasn't for 40k. So that was the only little icing on the cake where it made the decision a bit easier.
So you made the decision to go part-time.
Yes.
And then and built obviously on the back of that. Are you considering to go full-time?
So I wish that's like the next step forward. We're still a big. I think we're a long way off still. This is why it's important. Like, if you watch the channel, and we say it constantly, become an SN Plus member. If you can, become a patron if you can, because obviously all those funds are part of my salary. After we pay all the bills and stuff, obviously it's part of my salary. I still have part-time. My job pays quite well, so it would need to be like the chunk of what I'm getting at work now. I would need to have as an extra,
like
consistently in SN, or closer to it, mm-hmm. than what we are now. So I would need X amount of new members, X amount of new patrons. So if you are watching and you're enjoying the content, even if it's like for a few months, even if you want to join SN Plus on Patreon for a few months, because you can, that always helps as well.
Definitely.
So
and what could people expect? Let's say you went full time because of that kind of support.
Yeah.
What would people expect from
there'll be much more content. So at the moment, we're doing like 2 battle reports a week, and we're doing like some sit downs and stuff. There is no way in hell we can do more. at the moment with part-time. So my part-time is I work Monday, Wednesdays and Fridays, and I do SN I do SN all the time, every single day. I record on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So obviously being full-time, I would record 3 times, 4 times a week, which is the important part, because you need to record to get the content. And there'll be more content out and stuff like that.
So on content itself, of course, the decision has been made, full Horus Heresy. It's been going tremendously well. But, dun, 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 if 40k brought out a new edition that excited you to play again, would you go back to it?
No, not as a channel, definitely. Like, SN will just stay as a Horus Heresy channel. Like, and definitely, that's like 100%. I would never incorporate different game system into SN again. It's not only because there's a couple of factors. Like, it doesn't work as a channel. Like, you've seen it. Unless you are the big boys, you can't do it. Where you have a massive team and you have a massive studio and you have, paid people working for you, you can do it. But as a small team like us, or as for myself, I just do it. It's too many rules. It's too much of a burden because again, coming back to Gibraltar, you need to have all the armies. There's no guests where people can bring the armies like a lot of people do. And it's just too much for us. And it just doesn't work as a channel. You've seen that when we went solely as a Heresy channel, it just exploded because people know that when they come to here, they just see Heresy. And that is something that I want to basically say. It's easier for me as a job as well.
For that old game systems. At one point we were doing old world 40k Horus Heresy.
It was horrendous. Like, we would record like an old world game on a Tuesday and then go back to a 40k on the Thursday, and then the Tuesday we would record a Heresy. It was horrendous. It was bad. It was bad. We weren't enjoying it because we were just constantly having to check rules, and 40k is a system where it's constantly changing rules anyway. Heresy is very intricate. Old World is very, very intricate, so it was just horrendous. Like, those few months were like horrendous.
It seems as well that Horus Heresy, the type of game Horus Heresy is, in terms of how and I know obviously it's changed to 3.0, but how the terrain and how armies look on the table, how the game kind of plays, seems to culturally fit really well with your ethos of what SN was going to be.
Yeah, that was my vision. Like, my vision is playing a war game, or recording a war game, or having a channel for a war game. 40k isn't a war game at the moment. Like, I know there's people that are going to say yes, personally, and I know a lot of people don't see it as a game. It feels like a game of chess, or like a board game more than a war game. I fell in love with Warhammer by watching those White Dwarfs, where you had proper battlefields with trees and ruins, and it looked amazing to see, not even play. And that is what Heresy still brings. It is still a war game. You can still play with any single battlefield. And it just feels, you see the game and it feels like a war game. You watch 40k at the moment, and everything's hiding behind these wooden or perspex, L shapes, and there's perspex and there's mats on the floor. It just doesn't feel what I want out of a war game. And I know people like it, and that is 100% respectable. You've got the likes of Shaggy from the team that still loves it. 100% respect that. But personally, for me and my vision and SN, it just didn't fit the criteria.
So Horus Heresy it is, but do you have any plans to play like Horus Heresy adjacent games like Imperialis or anything else they can?
Again, if we do full time, I would definitely dabble into the likes of Imperialis and any other game. I know there's a role playing game coming out for Heresy now. It's part of like Istvan. It's going to be like a role playing game out of Istvan. So I would definitely do something like that. Like, set up a table with a couple of guys and do like a proper Dungeon and Dragon style setup, playing the role game. But again, it comes down to time, which we are chock-a-block now. There's nothing else we can do. This is the max we can do, unless more people start subscribing and becoming patrons. And obviously we can take it to there.
Good segue, Pardo, because my last question for this segment is, what can subscribers and members expect from the future from SN?
So, I think we'll carry on doing like events and stuff like that. So anybody that subscribes to our Patreon will be getting early bird tickets, which is something that's very important because our events are just like selling out completely, which is great. And apart from that, there's like a lot coming behind the scenes. We're working on some campaigns. Zone Mortalis is coming out very, very soon. We now have every single Legion. So again, we're going to do a knockout system. We're going to finish off the one that we started in 2nd edition, which we never finished because we knew the rumors were coming of third, so we thought we'll do the semi-final and the final with third edition as just a finisher, and then what we will do is we will be restarting the whole knockout tournament with every single legion this time. There's campaigns coming. We've got some super heavies, we've got some titans now in the studio, which we still haven't recorded with. So there is a lot coming, and we're excited because there's just so much to do. And we're excited about it.
Amazing. Brilliant. So last but not least, the last part is going to be a quickfire round.
Okay.
And we're going to come at that in just a second. Now, you're going to have to answer honestly and as quick as you can.
Is it a yes or no type of thing?
It's either or.
Okay.
Okay? So I'll give you an example.
Okay.
If it's Alpha Legion or Thousand Suns, you would say...
Alpha Legion.
Right. Okay. As quick as you can, okay?
It would be Thousand Suns, but I just...
That's not how the game works. Right, well, let's give this a go. I'm sorry if it all goes wrong, and that's coming up in just a second. Here it is, quick fire round. Let's see if Mr. Pardo will answer truthfully, honestly, and as quick as possible. I'm going to be staring at my iPad because I've got the questions right here, and I'm going to try and answer, read them out as quickly as I can. Okay, you ready?
Yes.
You excited?
Yes.
Nervous?
Will I get in trouble with people?
All right, let's begin. So, okay, 3, 2, 1. Traitor or loyalist?
Loyalist.
Blood Angels or Imperial Fists?
Imperial Fists.
Perturabo or Vulcan?
Perturabo.
2.0 or 3.0?
3.0.
Battle reports or events?
Battle reports.
Rogal Dawn or the Emperor?
Emperor, always.
Winters or the Spider?
Spider.
Saturn or Tartarus?
Saturn.
Alpha Legion or Iron Warriors?
Alpha Legion, Iron Warriors. Iron Warriors.
2,000 points or 3,000 points?
3,000.
Benji or Kieran?
Kieran until Benji finishes his 3,000 points with Solar Auxilia.
40k or Old World?
Currently, Old World.
Loken or Sigismund?
Sigismund.
Real or Barca?
Barca.
No Retreat or Gibraltar GT?
No Retreat.
Predators or Sicarans?
Sicarans.
Erebus or Loga?
Is none a thing?
Competitive?
I think I'm going to say Erebus just because.
Thank you. Competitive or narrative play?
Narrative.
Okay, that was it. Well done. That was very.
That wasn't that bad.
That wasn't bad.
That wasn't bad.
Yeah, I didn't want. I didn't want to make it too bad for you.
Okay.
Yeah, I wanted to make it kind of.
Benji, I still love you.
Brilliant. Well, okay. Hope you enjoyed our interview with the boss between two tabletops. Will we call it that? Between two ferns, part 2.
Yeah, with no table.
Yeah, with no. It's just over there.
Just over there.
And please comment below if you enjoyed it or not. Give us a like and a subscribe as always if you have not. And don't forget that there is a little membership icon there to join the team, and in the background you can find out all the stuff that's happening in the community, in the WhatsApp groups, and all the perks you get there. So thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for taking time for the interview.
Thank you. It's weird to have you in the studio asking me. It's weird to have you here asking. Your voice is just surreal. It's the first time you're in the studio, in the new studio.
Yeah, the new studio. Yeah.
Which is sad.
I know, but I like it. It's nice.
Good.
Yeah. You do it after I leave, obviously.
Yeah, always waiting for that moment.
Till next time. See you again very soon.